The 99 manifested names are 1. Autumnri 2. Nun 3. Nunet 4. Hay 5. Hat 6. Kek 7. Keket 8. Amun 9. Amunet 10. Hika 11. Autumn 12. Shu 13. Tefnut 14. Geb 15. Nut 16. Aset 17. Asaru 18. Neptet 19. Suchuk 20. Haru 21. Astenu 22. Hapi 23. Anquit 24. Sobik 25. Moot 26. Nefertum 27. Montu 28. Bibti 29. Hu 30. Hathar 31. Mayer 32. Fry 33. Tanan 34. Rate 35. Kentamentu 36. Heka 37. Sakmet 38. Anubu 39. Kanum 40. Kansu 41. Nath 42. Bes 43. Tata 44. Sia 45. Heket 46. Amsu 47. Mot 48. Serapis 49. Renante 50. Atunri 51. Shai 52. Tahuti 53. Seshet 54. Toweret 55. Bast 56. Selket 57. Ha 58. Nahabka 59. Sakar 60. Bait 61. Acre 62. Iniheret 63. I am Hotep 64. Wapwai 65. Seket Hetep 66. Marisker 67. Sia 68. Jerhet 69. Bihuti 70. KH Nemtit 71. Menkit 72. Hem 73. Mesnit 74. Meduthi 75. Kebe Senyef 76. Duamutef 77. Merit 78. Moftit 79. Merit Sekher 80. Eju 81. Nekibet 82. Sekhat 83. Anukis 84. Jet 85. Nebercher 86. UA 87. UAS 88. Anku 89. Afnuit 90. Satis 91. Sekti 92. Va 93. Ainanri 94. Imute 95. Imsidi 96. Kemamu 97. Rish 98. Mary 99. Amunri. Each of the deities has his/her hidden or sacred name in tones that reveals their powers for the use by their offspring through the bloodline, you. There are also 99 manifested energies, and each of the elements has hidden qualities or sacred energies vibrating also in tones that reveals latent powers, and by the alchemist proper use, these elements can be unleashed or molecules altered to create wonderful feats by those linked by blood. All exists within light, now that scientists have accepted the existence of quarks and zells, which they consider unseen by the eye, but they are the root of all creation. Mind forces, spiritual strength, soul attainment and thoughts are all made up of different speeds of the wavelengths of life, or microatoms. Electricity is microatoms of life, while sound and color occur when the microatom have different speeds, but when microatoms are stopped or hindered, they create heat. Light is an intelligent force of energy which can be thought into existence of substance. Darkness is an intelligent force. All that exist on the physical realm between the material plane and the plane of force, and a part of the spiritual plane is of light, but light, existence, intelligence are things, and things clash, causing chaos, as positive and negative energies clash to split the atom and to create atomic power or a force of light and destruction. Light is the source that confuses all, from and by light is intellect born. But outellect in which intellect was created is the greater. Black, darkness, bliss, and tranquility, are the outellect, intelligent, the pure state, in which things exist, not merely existence, before things became something or the sum of things. The pattern of microatoms of light changes with changing thoughts, where man achieves the formula of the harmonic vibrations of light. The key to all physical life in the universe lies in harmonic interaction of light. The children of light. The Illuminati. The children of Lucifer. They speak of light as good, darkness as evil or bad. They mean the fire is good. It's the original light. They seek to fool you with the spark of thought as knowledge. That too is a trick. Light as lightning destroys. Light as electricity kills. The light of the atomic bomb. The light of the muzzle of the gun that kills. Light is evil, darkness is the abode of good, God. Even the great sun in the sky has a birth and it will die. So it is not God itself, and its 1,000 rays of light will one day go out. So we Egyptians don't worship the actual sun itself, but we give great respect to it for what it provides us with. And we also know that if you stare into it, it will blind you. Different vibrations of light as in different tone scales of music played simultaneously create harmony, which is often thought of as a good force when in fact it is a dividing and separating force, coexisting. Whereas energy of the all vibrates at the same rate and produces unison. Existing is all in all, not coexisting as in 1, 3, 5. All this happens in or inside the universe, not inside of the universe. So it is not the universe, but rather resides in the universe, as all religious believers claim their holy books inspired by their deity, BHWH, Theos, Allah, exist in paradise. As they claim their deity is in the heavens. So, their deity is not the heavens, not the universe, not paradise, not peace, not tranquility, not bliss, but as an existing being inside of the ultimate state, Pakulu. They claim their deity is the light of the heaven and earth, Quran 24:35, and a torch of light. And the light shineth in the darkness, and as long as they see themselves and their deity as shining in the darkness, they would never comprehend the truth of darkness, from which all things came. Darkness was and is before and after light. Light merely shines in the darkness. Not and never the other way around. Thus, your God or deity is in darkness, and said as you say let there be light, Bible Genesis 1:3. That is in actuality the creation of Re-Ra, the sun called Shamush in the Torah and Shamsun in the Quran, and Helios in the New Testament. All of these were copied from the Babylonian deity Shamash, Bible, Ezekiel 8:16. The mathematical formula for all transportation is found in the vibratory frequencies of light harmonics. It's anti-gravity waves and tide waves, which are simply the frequency rate between each pulse of the spiral of light, and controlling this frequency rate, the flow of log time can be varied. Where one simply moves within one's environment within the protection of the ship. Be it physical or hologrammic of ethereal, instantaneously from one planet to another, or one solar system to another, from one dimension to another, from a state of non-existence into an apparent state to the observer, where time, the geometric, is controlled all in a moment, called beginning. The word is used in English beginning, again as beginning, or begin, by jinning, from Middle English beginnen, from Old English beginnen. Beginning is simply two words by and ginnen, from the root word begin, taken from the German mythology Ginnungagap, a very large deep opening in the Earth's surface, in which the universe was created during a spontaneous union of heat and cold. First note that in your Torah Bible, which gave birth to the Quran, it does not say at the beginning, it says in the beginning, inside of, within. Not at the very beginning. That's why the tricker gave you the second and never mentioned the first in time, 60 seconds, but it consists of 60 moments, so you have the first moment ethereal, darkness, and the second, physical light. So as the six ether beings' time is numbered as 666. That is 60 moments, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, or 60 plus 60 plus 60 equals 180, as in the 180 degrees of will, evil, and 180 degrees of will, good, called choice or twice. Zig, one direction, zag, back, and zig another direction. Zigzag zig, 3 Hebrew letters of the 6th letter, zain, zain, zain. 180 degrees evil, 180 degrees good equals 360 degrees of will. 3 by 6 equals 18, which is 9, or 360, which is 3 plus 6 plus 0 equals 9. You made the choice. Agreeable, or disagreeable. 6 equals 2 threes, equality, which is E equals energy, from the Latin energia from the Greek energos, meaning active, being in physical motion, actigus to drive out, and quality, from qualitas from qualis meaning what kind. So equality being the human beast's sacred number describes what kind of actions they create, which is chaotic. The word begin is used in the English language comes from Middle English beginnen, from Old English beginnen, from Gothic beginnen, to begin, from to, by ginnen, meaning to touch, begin. So this is simply saying that again, they do not really know the definition of the word, it is simply two words put together, by and gin. The word by is used in the English language comes from the Latin word bis, by meaning twice, and bini, meaning 2 by 2. The word gin is used in the English language, spelt with a J, Jinn, being the root of the word jinn or jinni or genie, which is defined as 1. A supernatural creature who does one's bidding when summoned. A jinni, from French genie, spirit, from Latin genius, guardian spirit, see genius. At the beginning of this world as you know it, there was a waste of water called Nu, which means deep abyss. Nu was the abode of the Great Father in many beings such as the G.O.A.T'S. A pair of 8 in all, Nun, Nunat, He, Hehet, Kek, Keket, Amun, and Amunet, who dwelled in the house of G.O.A.T'S in the great waters. One group in particular was the troglodytes from the planet Maldic. Nu housed all beings, for the Ma water covered the whole planet Ta Earth. Nu was considered the deep, and all Pa Ta the earth was covered with Ma water, and he gave being unto Pa Re the sun deity, who hath said, Lo, I am Khepera at dawn, Autumn Re, Atun Re at high noon, and Amun Re at sunset. From Nu you get Turn or Autumn Re, the first morning, the birth of the Son of Righteousness. And from Autumn Re you get Shu and Tefnut, and from those two you get Geb and Nut, who gave birth to Asaru, Aset, Neptet, and Suchuk. From Asaru, User, Osiris, and Aset, Alset, Isis, came Haru, Heru, Horus, and from Asaru and Neptet, Nephthys, came Anubu, Anubis, which created the first hate. By that I mean Suchuk, Set, was the mate to Neptet, Nephthys, yet Asaru, Osiris, impregnated her, and Suchuk wanted revenge. The first act of creation, which means to grow, was the sending forth from Nu of the ball of the sun, the creation of light. Temu, autumn, symbol of the eel, bull, lion, lizard and mongoose, because it would kill serpents and eats crocodile eggs, evolved the thought in Nu, and when the thought was expressed in a word, or words, the sun appeared as the result. The great autumn symbol of Akir the lion became Ari from the ancient Aramaic Ari, or Arya the sacred call word of the lion head, descendants of ancient Oxum Ethiopia and Tama-Re Egypt, symbol of the Nemuse, crown and the lion sphinx, today called Dreadman. This is where your Genesis chapter 1 story comes from. Let's continue. Every succeeding act of creation represented a thought of Temu and its expression in words, which probably took the form of commands. The material sun, or the body of the sun, was worshipped as the source of all heat, and light, and life by many Egyptians, especially under the political influence of Pa-Wapap, the priests of Re-Ra Anu Heliopolis, city of the sun. The story of creation is entitled The Book of Knowing How Re-Ra came into being, and is told by the deity Nebercher, the everlasting deity of the universe. The desire to create the heavens and the earth arose in his heart, or mind, and he assumed the form of a deity Khepera, who from first to last was regarded as a form of Nu, or the creator. At this time nothing existed except the vast mass of celestial waters which the Egyptians called Nu, and in this existed the germs of all living things that subsequently took form in heaven and on earth, but they existed in a state of inertness and helplessness. When Khepera rose out of this watery mass, he found himself in an empty space, and he had nothing to stand upon. Khepera came into being by pronouncing his own name, and when he wanted a place whereon to stand, he first conceived the similitude of that standing place in his mind, and when he had given it a name, and uttered that name, the standing place at once came into being. This process of thinking out the existence of things is expressed in Egyptian words which mean literally laying the foundation of the heart. Khepera also possessed a Ba or heart soul, which assisted him in depicting in his mind the image of the world which was to be. Khepera was also assisted in this work by Ma, law, order, truth, etc., who acted the part of wisdom as described in the book of Proverbs chapter 8 verse 22. Nu is called the father of the Neterot and the producer of the great company of the deities. The watery mass of Nu was the prototype of the great world ocean which later ancient nations believed to surround the whole world. Out from Nu came the river which flowed through the Tuat, or other world, and divided its valley into two parts, making it to resemble Egypt. From Nu also came the waters which appeared in the two famous caverns in the first cataract, and which, flowing from their mouths, formed the river Nile. The waters of Nu formed the dwelling place of Tem, and out of them came the sun, which was the result of one of Turn's earliest acts of creation. The early inhabitants of Egypt thought that the sun sailed over the waters of Nu in two magical boats, called Manjet, Monchet, also called Netet or Atet, and Semtet, or Sektet, in the form of the sun set out in the morning on his journey, which he finished in the latter. A very ancient tradition in Egypt asserted that Nu was the head of a divine company, which consisted of 4 Neterot and 4 Netertot. These were Nun, Nu, and Nunat, He and Hehet, Kek and Keket, and Amun and Amunet. The Neterot of these pairs were depicted in Unu human form, with the heads of frogs, and the Netertot in the forms of women with serpents' heads. Nu was the primeval water itself, He personified its vast and endless extent, protect the darkness which brooded over the water, and Amun its inert and motionless character. Nebertu refers to a calamity which befell the sun, and extinguished its light. And he made his second eye the moon, to which he gave some of the splendor of his first eye. He then assigned to it a place in his face, from which it ruled over the earth, having special power in respect of the production of trees, plants, vegetables, herbs, etc. Kapara joined his body together and wept tears upon them, and men and women came into being from the tears which fell from his eyes. The creation of quadrupeds is not specially mentioned, but the Netter says that he created creeping things. Men and women and all other living creatures which were made by the Netter then reproduced their species, each creature in its own way, and so the earth became filled with their descendants. As you can see from reading this whole story, you see where the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Quran, the Sumerian tablets, and all other creation stories originated. When you summarize all the stories, you can tie in each story from all over the world, and they all come up to the same layout as the ancient Egyptian story, from which they all originated. Going back to the story of Re-Ra. In the beginning there existed neither heaven nor earth, and nothing existed except the boundless mass of primeval water which was shrouded in darkness, and which contained within itself the germs and beginnings, male and female, of everything which was to be in the future world. The divine primeval spirit, which formed an essential part of the primeval matter, felt within itself the desire to begin the work of creation, and its word woke to life the world, the form and shape of which it had already depicted within itself. The first act of creation began with the formation of an egg out of the primeval water, from which emerged Ra, the immediate cause of all life upon the earth. The almighty power of the divine spirit embodied itself in its most brilliant form in the rising sun. When the inert mass of primeval matter felt the desire of the primeval spirit to begin the work of creation, it began to move, and the creatures which were to constitute the future world were formed according to the divine intelligence Ma'at. Under the influence of Tahuti, or that form of the divine intelligence which created the world by a word, 8 elements, 4 male and 4 female, rose out of the primeval Nu, which possessed the properties of the male and female. These 8 elements were called Nu, Nur, also called Nun, Noon, and Nunet, Nar, He, Uwa, or Hatha, and Het, Haya or Hathihi, Kek and Keket, the deities of darkness and void, who were responsible for removing the black dust cloud that covered the planet Earth, so that the sun's light may shine through, and Amun and Amina. Collectively they were called Kamenu or the height, also known as Ogdod. The purpose of the number 4 is genetics. We're speaking 4 generations of genetic breeding, which in turn became 4 more generations of 400 years, altogether 800 years, where the genetically bred beings transformed from one being to the next, a form of grafting. And they were considered as primeval fathers and mothers. They appear in 2 forms, as apes, 4 males and 4 females, were used in the breeding process, who stand in adoration of the sun when he rises, and greet him with songs and hymns of praise. The mention in the writings of old of hymns, songs and praise is a recognition of reverence, adoration, the establishment of superiority and inferiority, supreme beings to mere beings. As Genesis clearly mentions, which is the genealogy of Isis, there was a period of time when Homo sapien began to call on the name of He, which read in dyslexia, becomes Ihu, which in fact is YHWH. Genesis 4:2, and I quote, and to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos, then began men to call upon the name of the Lord. It is a recognition of prayer, or the calling on one's superiors, parents, or ancestors, for help and guidance. It is an acknowledgement of the need of right knowledge by those who knew it. As Unu Basharat human beings, 4 having the heads of frogs, and 4 the heads of serpents. This was symbolic of, for instance Genesis chapter 3, where a being called Nakasha Whisperer, is translated as serpent. This is all symbolic of the relationship of Homo sapien with reptilian. The fact that in the gestation period of reproduction Pa Unu Basha the human being passes through the stage of a tadpole, having gills and a tail, confirming that they are in fact part reptilian or Maldakian, troglodytes. Those who inhabited the seas of this planet, while it was in a state of void and darkness, Genesis 1:2, Jeremiah 4:23-26. The birth of light from the waters, and of fire from the moist mass of primeval matter, and of Ra from Nu, formed the starting point of all mythological speculations, conjectures, and theories of the Egyptian priests. The light of the sun gave birth to itself out of chaos, that is talking about when 554 million tons of hydrogen changes into 550 million tons of helium each second. Out of chaos it's speaking of the original suns that exploded, and the conception of the future world was depicted in Tahuti the divine intelligence.